Hitting go live. All right, and it claims that it is live. So hopefully the OBS and YouTube are being honest with me and I'm not talking to myself. So good morning, everybody. And oh, there's the camera up there. Good morning, Jack. Thanks for the first message on here. That was kind of cool. I looked over and saw it. So way to start it out. So it's Monday morning again, and as I said last week, I'm trying to do a live stream every Monday. Might not be the best time of day for most people, but you can always see the recorded version afterward. So my name is Rich Charpentier. I'm the channel host, and normally we're talking about drones. And yeah, oh, all right. Probably I'm in the Highlands of Scotland. Well, very cool. If you notice me looking over at the other screen occasionally, that's because that's where the chat window is. So we are going to talk drones today. We're actually going to talk about wrapping up my current progression project with a construction client here in Prescott. So yesterday was Sunday. I went out and did another flight. We do a once a month flight for these particular clients, and it keeps them up to date on the progress of the overall build out of a luxury apartment complex area. So on screen over here, I'm going to throw something up for fun first. So I did my flight yesterday, and oh, good morning, Greg. How are you doing? Good to see you guys here. So I had a little extra battery left yesterday after I was doing my main flights, and I have to say, doing this project since July has been pretty amazing. I've seen this place built from the ground up, literally. And I'm just going to go ahead and hit play on this. And let's see. I hate it when it leaves that right there. Is it going to go away or not? All right, so we still have the stupid little player bar down on the bottom. There it goes. And maybe it'll go away. So like I said, I had some leftover battery. I decided to throw the drone on tripod mode. So this isn't one of my autonomous drone flights. I'm actually walking along behind the drone. So once again, tripod mode to keep it nice and slow. I was just having a little fun because this section is still closed off to the public. They actually have started showing some of the units. So we did some photos of the interiors recently as well, which was extremely cool. So we got to see some of the final product, which I've been looking forward to doing. You kind of get invested in these projects, you know. Since I saw this from the get-go, I've been really curious. What is this going to look like when it's all said and done? And it's looking pretty cool. Given the amount of space when I first started flying it, I didn't know what it was going to be. So seeing this final product's great. By the way, you saw that swimming pool go by? I could actually use it. So Arizona has turned on the heat this weekend. So we've been cold and chilly here at a mile high. And suddenly I'm in short sleeves and shorts. So yeah, shorts are on today. And I've got the drone coming back right now. So, you know, like I said, this is just a little for fun flight. There goes that little bar. Just to burn some batteries and also just to give myself, you know, some ideas of what it's looking like. We will be doing a final flight in a couple weeks once the landscaping is done. And we'll also be doing some more interior stuff for the construction group that we're working with, because they would like some of that as well. So there I am staring into the sun yesterday morning, and it was getting pretty hot. So I was hitting all the shade areas as quickly as I could. So once again, tripod mode, nice and slow. Just wanted to share this one with you guys. So I'm going to be sad when I don't have to go out to the site to fly it anymore. We do have other jobs going on, but this one's been a lot of fun. And the big part is that I'm using this for a new class that I'm putting together over on Udemy. And also for the folks who are on my Patreon channel, you already know, you've been seeing some of the stuff in preview right now. Good morning. Good morning. Too funny. Nice to have you all here. And I think my nieces and nephews are watching today. They're doing the homeschooling thing since everyone's sheltering at home. So if you guys are on, I'm glad to see you too. So anyways, let's close this one down and talk a little about what's going on here. So on screen, I've got this little screen I'm dragging in. Now, the folders in this one, yesterday I returned from the location. I did my flights. And then I always offload stuff as quickly as possible because I want to see what's going on. I do the flights in a very particular order for what I think is a good reason, because I'm using multiple flight applications and I'm doing multiple flight modes. So the first item here that you see is the 426 ortho images. Every month when I go to this job location, I fly Map Pilot first. I fly Map Pilot in order to make a two-dimensional ortho mosaic model. Let's pull it up, shall we? This is last month's 2D ortho mosaic. This was created with a Mavic 2 Pro, and I used Metashape afterwards. So we had the Mavic 2 Pro, Map Pilot, and Metashape to pull this ortho mosaic together. Now, this is actually a huge ortho mosaic, and you can zoom into it. You can make a giant wall covering if you chose to print this thing. So every single time since I've started flying this, we fly Map Pilot first. There's a reason why I fly Map Pilot first. I clear my card, and I know that the first set of JPEGs are coming from Map Pilot, and it's always consistent. I have 85 images that are shot with each flight with Map Pilot. So it's consistent and repeatable, so you know that the results from month to month are going to be the same location, and you're giving people the opportunity to compare last month and this month. So every month we do this one first, we offload it, and I know that my first 85 images belong to that ortho mosaic. To break things up, once I'm done using Map Pilot for the ortho, I jump over to doing the videos. So I have 4 video flight paths. So when I'm looking at what I'm offloading from the Mavic 2 Pro, I know my first block of JPEGs belong to the ortho. I know that my next batch of MP4s belong to the flights that I did with Litchi. So I open this one up, and normally there's only 4 items in this folder, but there's a 5th item. That was what I just showed you, what we flew through. But the other flights that I do, we don't need to run the whole flight here. But this one is one that I've labeled as up the center, so actually is going up the centered area of the overall construction site. And in the end, this one comes out really nice and smooth. I put it all together with Final Cut Pro, and so we show people through the different areas in the project. So that one's going up the middle there, and then this next one, let's get a look and see. This one turns around. So this is my larger orbit one. So that's the second big one that really shows off right over traffic or anything. So we have that one fly right around. If you can't tell, this is a tight space to be working in. We've got private homes up here. Started this one out. This was very important. It's not as relevant today, but when they were first doing the construction, we could see what was going up on the rooftops, how quickly the roofers were getting things done, when the air conditioners were getting in, when air conditioners were getting connected up. So this particular flight's kind of the same as last month as it was the month before. You get the idea. So in the beginning, this was a much more important one to the clients, getting that look down to see, has everything been closed up really? Because short of going up on the rooftop and walking around, this is a fantastic way to fill everybody who's interested in. So there we go. So the top-down one's not as compelling as it used to be. And then finally, we've got the flight for the front facades here. So this one actually sticks close to the front area, just making sure that they get a good view, what's facing roadside, because now they're getting their signs up saying, hey, we're taking people on board. You can lease one of these units now. So in the case of this particular build out, they've got 1 bedroom, they've got 2 bedroom, and they've got some really cool 2 bedroom, 2 bath loft units that were very surprisingly spacious to me. You'll probably see that on another live stream or on another video here. By the way, so if you're one of my regular YouTube subscribers, you know that the last big video was last week's live stream. I have been producing other videos. I've been producing a lot of other videos. A good number of them are actually over on my Patreon channel. 2 of them this past week were for another client. So videos are still going up, and videos will continue going up here as well. But one of the things that I'm doing with the Patreon channel is I'm actually putting some of the lectures together for my larger class about doing one of these drone construction progression jobs. So the folks over on Patreon are getting to see it right now first. The first 4 lectures are up, but I'm actually at lecture number 11 that I'm editing. So I've got 9 completely finished out for the course, and I'd say I'm close to halfway through because I keep finding things to add into it. So there you go. And so we're still flying along, seeing the fronts of these buildings. Like I said, it was a challenging area because of all the residential homes right up against the property line, and also a couple of hotels. So there's a lot of things to be working around and staying aware of while you're doing the flight. And good morning, Marv. Welcome to it. Hey, I can't believe this. So we have 6 concurrent viewers. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you guys have all popped in. I hope that this is useful for you. So there we go. We've got that flight done. So let's go ahead and close the QuickTime player. So there's the raw video section of it. I also do the time-lapse still images. So we did that Map Pilot flight, we did the Litchi flight in video, and then we do the Litchi flight in still photos again. So it makes sense to me when I get back and offload. I know the first set of JPEGs are for the model. The next set of videos are for Final Cut Pro, cobbling that together for the time-lapse. The next set of JPEGs are for the still images. And there's the major things that I'm flying out there. So when I pop these up, you can actually see we give them several angles, and we compare those angles from month to month. So it's been very useful to the clients. The person who initially got me on board actually dropped a note, and they were sorry that I couldn't do another project for them down in the Phoenix area because they're not as happy with the results as what we're providing them here. Once again, I strongly think it's the presentation that we're doing with the private web pages after that are the most compelling to the clients, because it's a one-stop shop and they can see what's happened on the site very quickly with a progression report like that. In the class that I'm doing, I'm going to be talking a good bit about that as well. I've been also doing some of that here on channel and some of that on the Patreon channel. So let's go ahead and close that one up. Let's just take a look at another one. So once again, this is yesterday. So this is what things are looking like on Sunday, April 26th. So, all right, let's close that one and let's grab another. So a bit of an overcast yesterday, by the way. That's one of the other interesting things doing these construction progression reports. You never know what kind of weather you're going to be dealing with. I've been through this project dealing with snow and ice in the location, ice in the parking lots, lots of bees in the area. You know, it's all seasonal. So it always does look a little different. The final presentation that we're going to be doing for them is going to be a little more cinematic. We're going to include some of the interiors, but we're making a longer video showing the progress for the clients from July through to, it's looking like May at this point. So we'll see how quickly the landscapers get done. So I'm going to close that one up. And then finally, when everything is all said and done, I've got this empty folder called web video, and I do this every month. When I put out all the video together in Final Cut, I export it, and it ends up on YouTube on another one of my channels as a private link. And yeah, I just lost track because I looked over at the chat. Sorry about that. So I do have another YouTube channel for my clients. I do put up private links for them, and they can go to YouTube really quickly. So that means that they can share the links to the web page with anyone in their staff. We always password protect their particular ones. So whenever I send them an update saying the new page is done for you, usually my website gets a ton of traffic that day because a lot of people are going over and checking it out. As a matter of fact, the people who are in charge of this complex, not the construction group, but the folks who will be doing the leasing, we've been talking for the past couple of weeks as well, and they absolutely love the reporting that we've been doing on this. So that was a really good boost to say we're on the right track with this stuff. So I make the web videos, I load them up to YouTube, I also put them in this folder. When I'm done, they have a private Dropbox, and I upload all of this stuff, including that web-ready video, because all this content is theirs. They've paid me to go collect this data for them. What they do with the data afterward is their business. While I'm doing the presentations for them, um, you know, they love those and appreciate those, but they still do want this data. I found out recently they are using some of the still images, and they're using some of the still images from the orthomosaics as well. So who knew? An unexpected benefit for them. So that was awesome. So let's arrow back here, and as you can see, I'm not kidding. So I do one of these every month. So we've got 125.20, 229, so that's recent. And then we've got the stuff from last summer into the fall. And our first starting flight and test setups was on July 17th. So I'm not sure. I know in the course that I'm doing, I talked about those initial setup flights. I think I might have talked about them a little bit on the YouTube channel as well. So if you just look up progression reporting or construction progression on my YouTube channel, you'll find everything that's kind of in this genre here. So, and once again, thanks everybody. So we've got 10 concurrent viewers now. That's kind of cool for being such a small channel. So I really like that. And as I was saying, so we're gonna move away from this one in just a moment. My next steps today are pretty straightforward. I need to take all those JPEGs for the ortho, and I'm going to run them through Metashape. I've set Metashape up so that I can batch process things, so it's the same set of steps that I usually use, so I've started doing it as a batch process. And I know it's going to take me a couple hours. I do it on medium quality usually in Metashape. And so, by the way, Metashape is a modeling program that I use for doing 3D models and for doing orthomosaics and 2Ds and digital elevation models. There are other packages out there, Pix4D is the other big one, but I'm a Metashape user, so that's who I settled on. Licensing for all of them is expensive, so as you go down the road of this, keep in mind there's going to be some expenditures on faster computers if you want this done, and some pretty hefty license fees. So there we go. So that's going to be the first step today. I'll let Metashape do its job. It's going to take a couple hours, so I'll go take a walk. When I come back, I'll see the final models. Then I start working with Final Cut Pro on the videos to do the video time lapse to match up last month and this month to show the differences in those flight paths. And then finally, the still images from the couple of corners that we did the still images on, all those get uploaded to WordPress, and I use a plugin, Slider Revolution or Revolution Slider. I always flip the names on that. And so I'm actually producing that last part on the website with WordPress and the slideshow presenter. So I've got my day cut out for me. So when I'm done with this video, I'm going to be working on other video and models. So there we go. And so, by the way, let's pull this one up here. So as I was saying, I'm putting some of this new coursework up. I'm getting feedback from folks on Patreon. You don't have to be a Patreon member, so I'm not pitching them. I just want to let you guys know I really am putting some of these up. So this is lecture number 4 from the new class, and this is me going through it. So I know that several of the patrons sit in on these as well. So thanks to everyone who's been supporting that. And so the big reward on that is you're getting to see the class ahead of time. At the moment, I'm putting all of it up. We might break some pieces up, but we'll be continuing to do that because I've had so many questions from people about this progression reporting that I really wanted to take people through every single step. And that means even acquiring the client. So I talked about that in the course too. So if you want to check it out early before I announce the final course launch, you can run on over to the Patreon channel and check it out. So there we go. In other news, so we've been having, let's go ahead and move to something. I really don't like self-promoting too much, so I'm jumping right on to the next thing. Actually, they have a sales channel. So like listing your images with some of those other online imaging companies. They're also dealing with what caught my attention with them. Okay, now let me in. What caught my attention with them is there's going to be some mapping features too. So talking with Darren, who's one of the folks over at soar.earth, they've got some big plans. They're still developing some things, so I'm not going to tell you everything about them right now, but if you wanted to share some of your drone images that could actually be related to map locations, I'd say pop on over to SOAR, give a read through, see what they're doing with it. But what was interesting to me is we were talking a little bit about orthomosaic maps and orthomosaic assembly. Um, I've had people on this channel, on this YouTube channel, ask multiple times, I just want to make orthos, I just want to make 2D models. Do I have to spend $3,000 on this license or spend this amount of money every time I upload? And I think down the road there's going to be some possibilities with some two-dimensional modeling with SOAR. Right now, though, you can sell some of your aerial images to them, or sell through them, I should say, not sell to them. But so they have a lot of interesting maps and models that people are providing and uploading to their site. So I would suggest going and giving a read about what SOAR is doing. And I'll go over here to the about. So the reason why they came to mind is last week on Thursday, I did an interview with Darren and the folks at SOAR. So we talked a little bit about my business and what we're doing and building here. And also I've gotten to have a couple of calls with them regarding what they're doing. So this is an interesting proposal. So I would say come over, give them a read. You can, so they're saying discover your Earth, but so we can have images that are matching up and overlaying with the mapping tools out there like Google Maps and Google Earth. And so they have my attention. So we'll be having additional talks. And let me go ahead and minimize this really quick. So I'm not kidding. I think I killed the volume on this, so I hope that... All right, there we are. We're nice and quiet. It's over on the other screen, so you're not seeing it yet. But let me just pop this over. So it was an interesting conference call. My skin tones don't look great. Darren's don't look great either. This is a recording of a recording. So he was recording with his software. I was recording with iShowU so that we could put the audio together. I don't think our interview is up on the Soarcast yet, but I think it will be soon. And when he lets me know, I'll let you guys know. I'll pop that up on the YouTube channel. So let's go ahead and close the VLC. So, another interesting website that you might want to check out to see if there's anything that you could supply to them, and also a place to showcase some of your more interesting drone images, especially, mapping style images like this one that's up here. So I'm looking to see where they go and where they grow to. And I told him over and over again, I said, it'd be really great if somebody out there had an application or a service that let us generate larger orthomosaics at reasonable prices. So anytime that I talk to somebody else in the industry who's on the software side, I bang that drum because I know I'm not the only one. I know a lot of people here would like those too. Let's see. Did your Udemy Metashape course? Oh, thank you. Running image capture from sets I took with Drone Deploy Pix4D. What a difference. Yeah, no, one of my favorite things actually. So I'm a geek, okay? I like maps. I was making bicycle maps back in New Hampshire in 2002 of what's called the Great North Woods in northern New Hampshire. I was a member of the Coos Trail Association, and they were building a new trail in northern New Hampshire, places people didn't know about. Everyone thinks New Hampshire ends at Mount Washington. It doesn't. The Canadian border is still a good drive. So way back in the day, I had my own GIS set up, and I learned GIS from the radio frequency guys at Sprint and AT&T when I worked in telecom. And I started making little maps of good areas to mountain bike up there. It's such a remote location, so it was a very compelling idea. And I loved going to northern New Hampshire, the Connecticut lakes. So I was playing with maps back then for fun and enjoyment. And I gotta say, when I do the things in Metashape and the 3D modeling, I love seeing the dense point cloud. So when you first align everything in Metashape, and then you do the dense point cloud, it's awesome because you zoom it out and it looks like a real map. You start zooming in and you see all the little points that make that up. And I find that view of the dense point cloud more interesting sometimes than the 2D orthos, or the final 3D model with the mesh and the texture there. So yeah, I love seeing these things come together. And while I complain, and I'm not joking, when I'm done with this and I run the Metashape, I'm gonna go take a walk for a little while because it's going to take hours to produce it at the quality level. If I put it at super low quality, it would take less time. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna have to walk away. Once Metashape's done, then I'll do my next hands-on editing with Final Cut, and then get everything uploaded to the web and prep for the client. So they'll receive their new private page tomorrow. But yeah, Jack, I'm glad you're enjoying it too. And I missed something else. June, have you used Litchi for videos? Absolutely, I use Litchi for the video capture. So what I was showing before, I'll show it again here really quick. I created multiple flight paths for this particular client, and those flight paths were actually created with Litchi. Let's see which one this is. Okay, there we go. So this flight path was created with Litchi. So I made waypoints around these buildings. So I actually manually flew the initial flight, made waypoints where I wanted the drone to go, and you can see it jerking around a little bit here. I smoothed that out in Final Cut afterward. Also keeping the flight path slower, I keep all these at 7 miles an hour, kind of make sure that you're not getting too much jitter or jerky movements. But so this path was laid out with Litchi, and every time I go back to the site, I do the same flight paths over and over again, and I'm running those videos off of Litchi. So yeah, Litchi is great for doing the for waypoints for video. Ground Station Pro will also do this for you, so you don't have to be a Litchi user. Drone Harmony will do this for you. So if you're an Android user, Drone Harmony will also let you create these waypoints and create these repeatable missions as well. All right, let's see, Matt, do you use the standard or professional version? So now I'm using the professional version. When I started out, I was using standard. Standard's price was so reasonable. That's what pushed me to what was then PhotoScan. When I first got into this market, I saw the price of all the different applications, and I said, "Wow, this is expensive up front." So I was trying to find something at a reasonable cost to allow me to start practicing at least doing 3D modeling. And at the time, PhotoScan, the standard edition, was under $200. Compared to thousands of dollars, that sold me right there. I knew I couldn't do orthos with it, but I could do those 3D models. I could get accustomed to the workflow. So that's why I went with PhotoScan, which is now Metashape. You can also do screen captures off of standard. So if you don't have the ortho mosaic functionality, but you still need kind of a 2D model to show someone, this isn't an accurate model, they're not taking measurements or anything with it. But if you just needed to do that, what we were talking about before, when we generate that dense cloud and we do the texture and the mesh, when you first line everything up, it looks like a two-dimensional model. You can take a screen capture of that, throw it into Photoshop, put it into another photo editing program, and utilize that. If you have a client who thinks that they might want these two-dimensional models and you're not on one of the high-end things yet, you can let them know, hey, if we do this job, then I'm going to be upgrading some software, and here's the possibilities. So let's see. So yeah, now I do have Litchi Pro. I've got enough clients where it justified the expenditure. Or not Litchi Pro, I'm sorry, Metashape Pro. Ooh, look at that live stream. Can't edit that out. So great videos, nice using. Oh, sure thing, June. I'm glad to have you along as well. So let's see. We talked about SOAR. Was there anything else that I was looking for? I think that was about it this morning. Oh yeah, so the one other thing here. So the Udemy class will be going up probably start of May. And that will also be dependent on feedback from my patrons on Patreon, because I'm also using the Patreon channel as a test bed so that people can see things up front, and I can get some reviews and criticism so that I'm building these tutorials the way you guys want them so that they're useful to you. And always feel free to drop comments and notes here, really. I answer them. Sometimes I'm a day or two behind, but I promise I get those answered. And I appreciate you guys spending the time. To be honest, it's really cool. So thanks. Let's arrow back here and see if anything else jogs my memory. We've got all those. We've got the untitled folder. That is about it. So by the way, you're also seeing the messy desktop here. I gotta clean some things up and put them in their places. So the rest of today is going to be spent on this client project. The modeling will be happening, the videos will be happening, and then the web page assembly. Oh, yeah, so the one other thing that I glossed over before, once all these things are done in here, once the ortho is completed and all these other items are completed, they're provided to the client via Dropbox. So the clients download these every time. And that's the last step in it. And I got to say, Dropbox, maybe it's all of us staying at home, working from home. Dropbox's uploads have been painfully slow. So I'll upload these things in the background. And it's been taking a couple hours. And, let's take a look at this here. The raw videos, we've got 1 gig, 3 gigs, close to 3 gigs. So these files do get big. And, sharing them with clients, if you just dump all these things on them through Dropbox and you don't give them another format to look at, I think you're doing them a disservice. That's why I'm big on these deliverable web pages that I'm doing. And I'd love to see if you've got examples of your own. I'd love to see them as well, because I think we need to make the experience as good as possible for our clients, so that we can get more involved with other construction projects, not just my business, your business as well. Let me look down over here. Marv, thanks. I need to hop off for a Zoom call. All right. Did a Zoom call just the other day. And we'll see you again soon, Marv. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in on this one. I think we're going to be wrapping it up in a moment. Oh, and by the way, so if you are interested in any of the classes on Udemy, including this new class, in all of the video descriptions that we have here on YouTube, down below I usually have links to Udemy. Those links have my own reseller code in them, so that when you go over to Udemy, I actually get a larger percentage of what the classes sell for. So for instance, when Udemy does its big sales, and Udemy does some really big sales and gets me exposed to a lot of people, but on those big sales, when they're doing $9.99, they still keep the lion's share. So I was looking at my Udemy stuff this weekend. I'm averaging about $4.70 per student for Udemy. So if you use the links that I provide down below in the YouTube comments, or near the comments, I get a larger percentage. I am marking things down as well. But when folks go directly through Udemy, the content creators, we get hit pretty hard. So whenever you can, if you're interested in anything that we're doing, go check down in the show notes, use the links that I'm providing, because then it actually gives the creator more of more of their percentage than if you're just going through one of Udemy's regular sales things. That's also one of the reasons why I started up the Patreon channel, because I want to show people more. And I know on the YouTube channel, 10-minute and 20-minute long videos don't fly for everybody. I know those are too long. So that's also why I'm doing some of the bigger tutorials on Patreon and with Udemy, is just you have an expectation when you go to those places that things are going to be much longer. And just looking at the numbers on YouTube, I know that the average people here are like 5 to 6 minutes, and then they drop, so I get it. And I don't want to go on too long, but when we do these live streams, they're going to be a half an hour to an hour. And when I'm doing the classes, those things get into multiple hours, as you probably noticed. So, yes, the live stream will be viewable, so you'll see everything that we did before, right up at the beginning. I don't know if any of you got notifications. I set this live stream to start at 8 a.m. Pacific time. I don't know if you got notifications or not, but if you could leave me a comment in the notes below, just let me know if you got a notification. If you have time, try. Okay. Yeah, drop a note. Absolutely, drop a note. But anyway, and especially since when I'm waiting on Metashape, I've got some free time. So, But yeah, let me know if there was a notification that said that this was starting at 8 or if it didn't, because that was my big question. That's the first time I've used that tool. I've also been playing around with the live stream software a little more. Hopefully, in the near future, I'm going to be able to have conversations with other people on here so that we can have some longer talks about drone flight and building our drone businesses. And as always, thanks for spending time here. It's really appreciated. And I'm thrilled to pieces that we've got more people popping in. Like I said, let me know other subjects and topics. I'm happy to talk about them. And I hope that I'm helping all of you thinking about how you're building your drone businesses too. All right, I'm going to hop off here. I need to turn on the ceiling fan because it's getting super hot in here, but I didn't want it to take away from the audio quality. Also, if you could let me know um, how the audio quality is on this. I've made some changes with the gain and everything from a couple of requests from folks on YouTube. So I'm hoping we're doing better now on the audio quality and that it's not as soft as it was. All right, so Greg, you got notified. That's awesome. You got the notification at 7:30, Matt. Fantastic. Yes, no. All right, so when I'm doing these from now on, I will be posting in advance and I will be giving the time and then we'll have it launch on time. So the next live stream will be next Monday, and I do have some new things to share from another client project, but we'll save that for next week on the live stream. So have an awesome start to the week, everyone. It is 8:36 a.m. here in Arizona, and we're going to hit the fan, we're going to hit the air conditioner, and we're going to get to work on my client project. And if you guys have started in with clients and things, send along some links. I'd love to see what you're doing. I'm really curious about what other people are doing and how we can incorporate that to help each other out so that we all get some more construction clients and we've got our drones up in the air doing the jobs, right? That's what we all want to do with this here. Plus, it's a lot of fun. It's just too enjoyable. We'll see you next week. Have a great one and stay safe, stay healthy. I think we're doing well here in northern Arizona, and I hope that this stuff flattens out soon so that we can get back and get busy again. We'll see you next week.